Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jay's Down Podcast. I'm your host Jay, and today we're going to be talking about Trevor Lawrence being getting his big contract extension from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's now matching salary wise. Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback in the league right now, so we'll get into that, and I'll give my opinions on him and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button in the right corner of your screen. Also check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where you get your favorite audio versions of your podcast at. Of course, YouTube. So follow some socials on IG, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. So um, make sure you turn on post notifications also. But yeah, so let's dive right into it. So yeah, Trevor Lawrence got paid by the Jaguars. He got extended. So the numbers were it was a 5-year extension worth $275 million, $55 million a year with $200 million guaranteed, $142 million fully. So like I said, that $55 million average ties Joe Burrow for the highest among NFL quarterbacks right now, and matches the highest mark in NFL history. So of course, the only other members of this $50 million per year quarterback club are Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. All those guys, of course, having well, with the exception of Justin Herbert, have been having been into the playoffs at high levels. Of course, Jalen Hurts making Super Bowl just a couple seasons ago. Um, so my thing with this is like Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback, of course. He is a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I mean, we all know what he's capable of. I mean, what he did in his college career at Clemson, and he was a great player there. And then, of course, being taken with the number one overall pick in the 2021 draft. And currently, he's the only quarterback out of those guys in that draft class to really, to have gotten paid like that, and because you look at Zach Wilson, who's just been a disaster since he arrived in the league with New York, and then he gets traded to the Broncos, most likely going to be a backup there, maybe even start, who knows. Um, and look at Mac Jones. I mean, you saw it happen with New England. He had a good rookie year, but then after that, it just like was a disaster. The offense was, atrocious, and we all know how the Patriots have been the last couple of years. So they ship him off to Jacksonville, coincidentally. So he's now Trevor Lawrence's backup. But and then you look at Justin Fields. Justin Fields is now a backup to Russell Wilson. So Trevor Lawrence right now, if you look at it, is probably the most like I has had somewhat the most stability between all of them, those main quarterbacks in that draft class, as far as him being remaining a starter and having made the playoffs in the 2022 season. Of course, they came back and beat the Chargers, and then they came and then went to go lose against the Chiefs. But and Mac Jones, of course, made the playoffs his rookie year, but then they lost. So like my thing was like with Trevor Lawrence, he had a decent season last year, but it wasn't what Jacksonville needed from him. He eclipsed 4,000 yards, struggled with interceptions. He threw he threw 21 touchdowns, 14 picks, not good. And had a 65.6 completion percentage, and took a career high 35 sacks. So I mean, watching Lawrence play at times last year, it could tell like he wasn't, he was making mistakes that at this point in his career he shouldn't have been making. I know he's still young, but there were things I'm watching on film, looking at him like, okay, dude, like what are you doing there? A lot of passes were over the heads of receivers. There were some he was like I said, kind of inaccurate at times, and he lost his best guy in Calvin Ridley to the Titans, in the AFC South. You lost your best receiver to your rival, so they pick up Gabe Davis in free agency and Devin Duvernay. And to me, it's like Gabe Davis, is okay, but he didn't have the best season in Buffalo last year. Struggled with drops and things like that nature. And sometimes it looked like he was giving his best effort on his route. So I don't know. This is like um, I don't think this. I don't know if this is the right move for the Jags. Giving Lawrence this extension, because to me he hasn't really proved it that he deserves it. At this point in his career, he's played decently up to this point. Nothing spectacular. He's still young, of course. I get that, but at the same time, He's still, I would have gave it another year. Like you figure out a way to do that, like give him another year, because like this, I mean, like I said, he struggled with the turnovers and taking a lot of sacks. You can't do that. Yeah, some of that's their offensive line, but some of that's also on the quarterback. Like people don't realize, like with sacks, they think it's all on the offensive line. Not really. It's mostly on it's on the offensive line, but at the same time, if your quarterback is taking too long to get the ball out of his hands, or make a decision, then he's gonna most likely gonna take a sack, because the offensive line can't hold everybody forever. Everybody's not, every offensive lineman is as talented as some of like Brady's O line that he's had over the years, where they can just sit back there and keep him upright like for like 5-6 seconds. Average time for a quarterback to get the snap and throw the ball is like maybe 2 or 3, or if you're lucky. But still, that being said, I don't think this was worth it. And the Jaguars are in trouble because they have got to do something this year. And I mentioned this in my other video. You can check that out. But they have got to win. It's gonna be tough in the AFC South with the Texans playing the way they are, and like I said, I mentioned the Colts could possibly be a sneaky team this year to look out for. Anthony Richardson's gonna be back healthy from his injury, and um, they made some good moves like in the draft. So it's like I think, like getting Adonai Mitchell out of Texas, like so I really do believe that the time is now for the Jags to take it up a notch. Defensively, like I said, they got some good players on defense. In the back half, in the secondary, Tyson Campbell, Andre Cisco, some of those guys, Foy Aluakon, the former Falcon, holding things down in the middle there. Defensively on the defensive line, like they got to get more pressure. Trayvon Walker, he's got to take that next step up. But overall, it's a solid team. It's just you need your quarterback to make plays. You need Trevor Lawrence to step up and be that guy, like and play like a $275 million quarterback, which is what he's getting paid right now. So if he steps up and plays like that, then yeah, they have a chance to win. But if he doesn't, then it's like what? So you just wasted a lot. A lot of your cap is going to Trevor Lawrence's contract, and that's a problem if he's not producing the way you expect him to produce, at that level. So that's my opinion on Trevor Lawrence, on this contract extension. Yeah, he got the bag. He got paid for sure. He's getting paid up there, like I said, with Joe Burrow and those guys. Is he better than any of those guys? Better than Lamar? Is he better than Justin Herbert? No, he's not. But he's getting paid like it, so he's gonna have to play like it. When you get paid like it, you're gonna have to play like it. So, um, Trevor Lawrence, then, like, dude, you gotta ball out, man, this year. You gotta ball out, man. You got that bread, now go ball out, and get your team to the playoffs. Find a way to do that. You're gonna have to be consistent with the ball. You're gonna have to, have great ball security, can't turn it over a lot. 14 picks, 21 touchdowns ain't gonna get it done in this league. It's not. It really isn't. That's like average backup numbers. Like that's not gonna, unfortunately, that's not gonna get it done. So like I'm expecting him to have a bounce back season, of course. Like I said, they didn't really help him too much in the receiver department. I don't think Gabe Davis was worth the money that they gave him to come down there and be like the number one per se. I don't think he's a number one player. Not even when he was in Buffalo, like when Diggs may have missed time and Davis had to kind of be that. He still wasn't, like I said, he had that good playoff game against the Chiefs. He had 3 touchdowns, something like that. But other than that, like he hasn't really had that breakout game to me. It's like, oh, Gabe Davis is the number one bona fide receiver in this league. Like, no, he's not. He is a solid number 3, maybe a number 2. But he's a 3 at best. And he's getting paid like a number 1 receiver. So it's like the Jags believe in him. Doug Peterson believes in him. That front office believes in him, and they believe in Trevor Lawrence to get the ball out to those guys. So they got to do it if they want to be successful and win. So, like I said, I mean, as we're wrapping up mini camp period, and it's stuff like that, looking towards getting into training camp soon. Like now is the time to figure out, you know, who are your best guys and who are you going to have out there on the field, when the season rolls around. So that's just something to think about. Like I say, I mean, and for Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, man, has got to be that guy. He's got to be that guy. And he's got to step up and he's got to take this team and like you just he's got to be that leader. He's got to be the number one pick. He's got to be that. Yeah, he's got to get that. He's got to be that guy. That's my thoughts on it. So I was just kind of there. What do you guys think? Do you think Trevor Lawrence was worth the contract that he got from the Jags? Was it too much, too little? I don't think anybody would say too little. But let me know what you think in the comments. Are the Jags going to bounce back this year? Can they have a bounce back season? Can they make the playoffs? Let me know what you think in the comments, and make sure you check out my previous video where I talked about the teams with under pressure the most in 2024. And we'll see you guys next time on the podcast. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.